Hey guys, welcome back to World of Warships. Today we're taking a look at the Bourgogne. It's been a little while, and how is this ship faring in 2024? I've said a few times over the last couple of months that Bourgogne might not be the #1 pick for steel anymore, just thanks to a lot more 32mm overmatch and these guns being smaller caliber, so at longer ranges they can struggle against angled targets. Well, I think I might have said that a little too much before I actually played this ship a bunch. So, yeah, we're gonna get a bunch of damage this game, and it's renewed my commitment to saying Bourgogne is probably the best ship you can get for steel. The speed on this ship allows you to get into positions that allow you to just hit a bunch of broadsides with the AP. And there are certainly going to be games where that won't happen, but you still are able to reposition rather quickly. And let's not forget about the HE on this ship. It can be a very powerful HE spammer, doing really good alpha damage as well as lighting a lot of fires. The reload booster here, of course, is going to allow you to light permanent fires or just reload your AP quicker when someone does make a mistake and turn away from you. The ship is excellent at punishing bad mistakes from the enemy team. That's really what it comes down to here. So whether or not the enemy team is bow in, kiting, and angled, you're just going to punish them with the high explosive and get permanent fires. If they are going to go broadside to you at all, you will just have the AP to deal with them. Swapping over isn't really that much of a deal either, because we're obviously going to use Expert Loader. We don't have the improved versions that the Americans get, but this reload booster can be used to swap faster and just always have the right ammo type or when people go broadside to you. We also don't have much armor, we don't have much health, so we're playing it a little bit more passive than a lot of battleships. But the nice thing is we have better concealment than most, and this ship is kind of hard to hit, especially when you have prop mod plus your speed boost active. Once you find a position like this that you really like, where you're creating a decent crossfire on a flank here, this Monty, as you can see on our team, is starting to go a little bit farther towards the 9-10 line, so we're going to stay here to hopefully set up a crossfire with him. And that's really what's going to make the Bourgogne shine. You really do need someone to help you out with getting those crossfires. Ideally, we aren't going to spam HE in a lot of these games. I personally am not a huge fan of that playstyle, but Bourgogne can do that very, very well. I just prefer games like this, where we're able to use the armor piercing a lot more. Des Moines open watering, pop that reload booster, and get another AP salvo out on him. Something you do want to do is use these reload boosters. Something I struggle to do a lot of the time is I'm always waiting for the perfect opportunity with the reload boosters. I think you gotta just see a decent opportunity and hit that reload booster button. It's a lot of damage being left out on the table. So we get a decent hit into the Des Moines. The second salvo, a little more disappointing, but that's okay. Bourgogne, not the best dispersion in the world. It certainly isn't a bungo with a spotter plane, for example, but it's that ability to pop your reload booster when someone makes a mistake, or you get bad dispersion. Get that reload booster in and you get another shot rather quickly. It feels more of a battle cruiser role in that way, but it certainly feels a lot more impactful than a lot of the battle cruisers do. It has better armor than most battle cruisers do, as well as just the guns feeling a lot meatier. They just feel like they hit a lot harder and more consistently than a lot of the other battle cruisers at this tier. It obviously fills a BB slot, so not having 457s, 30mm overmatch can be a little bit rough if people decide to angle to you. But again, that's where we want to use our speed and our concealment to change our positioning and try and get those broadsides a little bit more. Got a decent start here, 100k in the first 5 minutes, always feels pretty nice, but now I think it's going to be time to start moving a little bit more here. The enemy team is starting to kite from this side, so we're going to try and deal with this Goliath, as well as just push the enemy team out of this flank. Our Monty is pushing a little bit more yet, so I am playing too passive to really support him. Even though we're far away from the Montana, if you have a battleship on your flank and they are taking more fire, even if you're pretty far away, you can just apply a little more pressure, take a little more focus fire, and that actually helps them out a lot. You don't have to be right next to them to actually support them quite a bit. An okay salvo there in on the Goliath. Again, each individual salvo can be a little bit trolly, but what helps is the reload on this ship. You're not a Vermont with a 40-second reload where you have 40 seconds there to sit and stew on the just terrible RNG roll that you just had. This time you at least get a decent normal reload as well as that reload booster. The competition, of course, for the Bourgogne in the steel slots are pretty decent. We certainly have things like a Stalingrad. If you're more of a DD player, you've got things like a Ragnar. But I haven't really played too much Incomparable since I reviewed it all those, it's probably over a year ago now? Can't even remember when that ship came out. I did not like it. But I think I will start playing it again this week, as well as some more Mecklenburg, and trying to see which of these steel battleships is right. It's getting into 2024 now. I should probably play some of these ships to make sure my recommendations are correct and up to date. Get a decent Citadel there in on the Incomp. Already getting ourselves a Confederate feels very nice. It means we're spreading out our damage quite well, and not just focusing one target. We are willing to change targets and try and shoot who's just the best opportunity. 2 Torp protections hit there on the Incomparable. Unfortunate, not quite enough pen, I guess, to get more Citadels on the Incomp. Feels a little bit bad, but that's okay. We need to get a little bit closer anyway. I mentioned, of course, that I needed to push up to support our Monty a little bit more. He's still got a decent amount of health, but you can see how far back we are compared to our team here. We certainly could be applying a little bit more pressure. Although the damage we have already is very, very nice. And given the state of this game recently, I do think as a battleship at tier 10, you do need to get some sort of broken OP advantages to actually feel like you have a strong battleship these days. I think you need to be able to deal with angled ships well, whether that be with overmatch or with really, really solid high explosive. I think you also need really, really good detection. I think that's another thing, is just being able to stay dark, not get focused down and pushed farther away. That's something that happens as soon as you have poor detection. You're just forced to play a little further back. It's a little harder to hit things, and it makes the game just a little bit more difficult for a ship with worse detection. Bourgogne has pretty decent detection. And the last thing, of course, I think is speed. I think you just need to have a lot of speed to either run away from a flank that's collapsing rather quickly, or to have the speed to reposition into a better spot to get more damage in on the enemy ships, or just catch more broadsides reacting to the game around you. And that's where I think we often see the most powerful battleships at this higher tier have some combination of those traits. We have things like St. Vincent, we have things like Bungo, things like Vermont even though that one's quite slow and has a really long reload. The guns are insane on that ship when they do manage to land. Laria, if you can get the dispersion to work for you, very fast, very stealthy, very good overmatch, especially with that sap, is kind of insane. All those ships have just ridiculous concealment, almost cruiser level concealment, combined with the ability to overmatch or do very good damage to angled ships, since not everyone's just going to give you a bunch of broadsides like we're seemingly getting in this game. That's where I think Bourgogne still can do pretty well. It's got the speed, it's got the HE, at least, to deal with some of those angled ships, and we also have this wonderful reload booster to adapt to most situations that we're in. So I still think Bourgogne is a very, very strong battleship here in 2024, as we pick up a Moskva there with a nice double sit at longer ranges. And probably the best dispersion of this game, and I dunk it low. I was pretty not happy, I suppose would be the right words to say, with that salvo, but hopefully we pick up this Incomp anyway. So already up to nearly 250,000 damage. There we go. Managed to get the Incomp. 250,000 damage and a few kills in this match already. Pretty fast match. Not even 10 minutes into this game already, and we have a pretty nice score. So I do think Bourgogne still is able to work in this meta reasonably well. And even though steel is a very difficult resource to get, I think if you're interested in battleships at all, I think Bourgogne is probably the one to get. Mecklenburg can do decent as well, but I would just prefer the Bourgogne over the Mecklenburg. Mecklenburg just doesn't feel as good to me as the Bourgogne does. But as I said, I do want to take a look at each of these steel battleships and probably go through a lot of the different resources, looking at all the ships available for the battleships, as well as cruisers and DDs this year. It'd be good to have a little refresher for myself, and as well just make some nice videos for you guys just to know what I think about some of these reward ships in World of Warships here in 2024. Because things have changed. Things certainly change over time. This game gets a little more passive, a little more campy each year, right? So we need to update our recommendations. Things that used to be good might no longer be able to work quite as well. But let me know what you think in the comments down below about the Bourgogne or some of these other steel battleships. Which ones are your favorites to go for? And hopefully we'll see some more videos on these steel ships in the future. But 255, 11 citadels is a very, very fun game. So I just had to share this one with you guys. As for the build here on the Bourgogne, of course, we're going very standard since this ship isn't really looking to get a lot of gimmicks out of the commander build. We're not going secondaries, we're not going heavy AP, but we are actually going for Furious. I'm giving up fire prevention to gain that extra little bit of reload. Our positioning with this ship generally is just not to get farmed at all, so we really do just not need fire prevention a lot of the time. I figure if I'm in a position where I would like to have fire prevention, I'm probably misplaying and mispositioning my ship anyway, where Furious can give us an extra 10% on our already very, very decent reload. We're of course going with things like Brisk, Consumable Specialist, getting us back both that reload booster and that amazing speed boost faster. Very, very useful things to have. Gun Feeder as well, Turret Traverse, things like that are very, very useful on this ship as well. Upgrades on this one, pretty standard as well. Of course, we're going Reload, Conceal, and Prop Mod. Prop Mod plus the engine boost allows you to accelerate really, really quickly, so speed juking can be pretty easy. And if you have the resources, which if you're getting a Bourgogne, it's pretty expensive, you probably have the resources for it, definitely get yourself an engine boost mod. Damage control party less useful, but engine boost mod here is just amazing. Giving you more uptime on that engine boost is excellent. Armor wise, yeah, it's just 32 everywhere. Tons of overmatch, over 32 these days, especially with super ships joining, but also a lot of HE spam to just farm you very, very, very quickly. So that's where we want to play a little further back, and our decent concealment here is helping us out a lot, as well as our speed, just to reposition and get ourselves into better spots. That's going to do it for the Bourgogne now. I still think it's my recommendation for 2024, but we'll see. As I play some more of these steel battleships over the next week or two, we'll have a few more videos, and I'll have a more firm recommendation. But Bourgogne is still just such an epic battleship that I think it's worth getting as maybe your first steel ship altogether. It's just that good. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.